Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Matt, and in today's video, I'm doing another Master Duel deck matchup. This time, Eldlich versus Virtual World. So, Virtual World honestly doesn't pop up as much as you would expect. I mean, it's always been like a solid deck, like either Rogue or better. But yeah, I'd say like there are definitely ways where you can draw pretty poorly, and then like you have to, you play a long grind game out against Virtual World. So let's get started here. I do win the die roll. But yeah, let's get into it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of Virtual World as a deck. Like, I think it's just, I don't know, the monsters all look weird, and it's kind of, mechanics are weird, but anyway. Alright, so I open up pretty solidly. I'm just going to set 4 pass. D-Barrier, always good to have against Virtual World, right? They can only do 2 types of summoning, Xyz and Synchro. Synchro is their primary summoning. So, yeah. So as soon as I see the emergency teleport, even before the monster hit the field, I knew it was going to be a Synchro deck. So, Virtual World. So at this point, you have to be patient. Wait until they have a tuner on the board before flipping D-Barrier, right? Like, make them commit to a bunch of stuff before you flip traps on them, right? Always be patient with your traps. Alright, so, yeah, he's going to go. Alright, so now he's summoning the Lulu, and here's the tuner. And as soon as the search finishes on resolution, I flip D-Barrier and call Synchros. So at this point, Virtual World has one line of play, and it's a very predictable line of play. If they cannot Synchro summon, then their only option is to Xyz summon, and their only real Xyz monster that's like a boss monster is Zeus, right? So I know with 100% for certainty, especially like if I was in his shoes and I was up against a back row deck and I was locked out of Synchro summoning, that the goal is to make Zeus and clear the enemy back row, right? Not just any Zeus, 4 material Zeus. So I know that is his goal, and that's his best play he can make. And look what I have waiting for him in the background. I have Solemn Strike. So yeah, this is where patience really needs to pay off here. So he's going to grab Chuche. He's going to keep summoning a bunch of monsters endlessly. Also, another issue I have with Virtual World as a deck is like all these monsters look the freaking same. Like I can't really, it's hard to distinguish between like Lulu and like Nyan Nyan. Alright, so he does a rank 6 Xyz here into Phoenix Fan. So, for those of you who don't know, this monster is really obnoxious because it says, like, attach 2 materials and basically target a face-up card and a card in either graveyard and banish them, right? And if this card is destroyed by card effect, he basically gets a special summon 2 monsters back. So, like, it's really annoying to deal with this. So, what I'm going to do here, like, I'm going to let him attack me directly, right? I'm not going to summon my Eldlich. I'm not going to flip Eldlich, and I'm not going to use... If I use Torrential Tribute here, he just makes, like... He gets 2 bodies back, and he probably goes into another copy of this monster anywhere, or something like that, right? So I'm gonna allow him to attack me, and make Zeus, right? Like it's only like 3,600 life points. It's not that bad. So main phase 2, he's gonna make the Gaia monster, because he wants his 4 material Zeus. So he makes the Gaia monster, and now he's going to make Zeus, and now so here comes his 4 material Zeus, and this is where you Solemn Strike. So if you ever wonder where you should Solemn Strike against Virtual World, there's 2 spots. You want to Solemn Strike, there's Zeus. Actually, I guess there's a few spots. You want to Solemn Strike Zeus, so you don't have to deal with it. You want to Solemn Strike the Shen. They usually run 1 copy, and Shen is really annoying. And the cool thing about Shen is like if you Solemn Strike it, they can't revive it from the graveyard because it wasn't properly summoned. I would say that the Phantom Knights rank 3 monster is also a good place to Solemn Strike the summon. But yeah. So, yeah, so he did his Xyz play, and I completely foiled it. So not only did I get 3 Xyz monsters outright, I got the Fan out, which means he's not going to be able to use it against Eldlich, because, banishing is bad for us, right? And he didn't get bodies in return. Got out the guy and the Zeus, so he can no longer make, yeah, so we're in a good spot. And we have Torrential Tribute for the following turn and Elixir. So on the end phase here, I'm going to grab my Eldlich. And yeah, now I'm gonna just alright, so at this point I know that his Chuche, so I was hoping that I would draw a trap card here, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to draw a trap, ideally an Elixir, right? That I can send Eldlich to the graveyard, take out Chuche, right? He has 2 unique names in his banish pile, so that means Chuche is live, so he can pop a face-up card. So I'm going to try to force him to pop a face-up card, and I'm going to go ahead and use Eldlich to attack. As soon as I go to battle phase, he uses Chuche to attack, destroy my Eldlich, which is what I wanted, right? And then in main 2, I'm going to use the Elixir to grab a Golden Land Trap, and then I'm going to immediately send it to the graveyard to get my Eldlich back, this time in defense position. So cool thing about this Eldlich is it's indestructible by card effects, so yeah, he can't pop me with Chuche. I'm going to grab you know, another Elixir, and I have a Maxx in hand, which is great because you know, either he's going to end his turn or he's going to like let me draw a bunch of cards. So I shotgun Maxx here because he already has the materials on the field to special summon, so I'm not going to let it reach main phase. If I Maxx on main phase, he can triple tactics talent, right, if he has it. So Qinglong's going to banish, grab a thing, okay, discard a thing. Yeah, Effect Veiler, useless against our deck. So GG. Okay, so I draw a card, cool. Lord of Heavenly Prison, not bad. Grab a Nyan, nice. And here comes the, he's going to make Crocodon. So at this point, so Crocodon is interesting. He has two, so I get a draw for that. He's going to get some draws, and then he has an effect that says you can discard 2 cards to pop a card on the field. So I'm going to flip Torrential Tribute here, and the reason I'm doing that is because I don't want him to draw 2 cards and then get his second effect off, which is discard 2 cards to pop a card. So if he wants to discard 2 cards, it has to be 2 cards in his hand right now, right? He can't look at the top 2 on his deck, right? So I'm baiting him to take this challenge. Although if he pops my Elixir, it's kind of pointless. Like, there's no point, right? And I didn't want him to pop my Torrential Tribute, so I might as well use it here. So blow up his board. He does not chain and for the pop, but he does get draws on end phase. So I have a really good hand. I drew 3 off Maxx, right? So now I'm gonna use Lord here, and then I'm gonna use Eldlich to take out Chuche, and then he's gonna chain Chuche to pop my other Eldlich, which is very predictable. Like, of course he'll do that, right? And then so that's gonna get popped, and then I'm gonna use my Eldlich in the graveyard to send the Elixir to summon itself at 3,500. Alright, swing for 35. He's going to take it. Main phase 2, I set 2. And then I get an Elixir. So, real quick. So, when there was a chance that this set card was called by the grave, right? So, I had a set Elixir, right? So, if he tried to call by the grave me, so the best time to call by the grave there would be when I send the Eldlich to the graveyard to send his Chuche away. That's when he should have chained Call by the Grave, if he had it, right? Because he doesn't want to lose his Chuche, because then he has to do more setup on his following turn. And if he did Call by the Grave, I chain Elixir and revive the targeted Eldlich. So there's no scenario where Call by the Grave would have went through. But the fact that he did not even try to Call by the Grave means that he doesn't have it, right? So that's why I felt safe doing that, sending the Elixir. Anyway, so pass to his turn. Lord of Heavenly Prison is protecting my back row. This is going to be hilarious. Oh, the shotgun Harpie's Feather Duster into the Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Yeah, alright. This is why I love Lord of the Heavenly Prison, right? Like, people don't read the card, they don't know what it does, so then they draw Harpie's Feather Duster against Eldlich, and they shotgun it, and forgetting, oh wait, they have Lord of the Heavenly Prison. Yeah, so that was hilarious. So he grabs another Chuche, Lulu targets it. So, quick thing, so in order for the Virtual World monsters to resolve their special summon, they must have the target stay on the field, right? So Lulu is their best starter monster because it mills a card and searches a card, right? So you definitely want to, if you can, like, Solemn striking Lulu is another okay point. But if you can stop the Lulu effect, which is the strongest effect next to, like, probably the Roshi Lao Lao, right? They don't get a search off and they don't get a mill, so they're in a lot weaker spot. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this Chuche. So not only do I not have to deal with Chuche, but now this Lulu won't even summon. So, all right, and now at this point, so he's gonna go ahead. That's gonna fizzle. I'm gonna summon Lord of Heavenly Prison. Why did I do this? So he already used Harpie's Feather Duster. I doubt he has Lightning Storm. Because Virtual World decks are kind of there's got a lot of stuff in it already. And I set Pot of Extravagance. So the reason I did Lord here is because I can't do Lord after Elixir, and I can't do Lord after Gozen Match, because I'll be locked in the lights. So I suspect I'm going to have to Gozen Match very soon, right? So because of that, I went ahead and summoned Lord now, so that when I flip Gozen Match, I can keep... I already got this Lord search, right? So he's gonna banish, get the Lao Lao, right? So this is gonna be hilarious. So he's gonna summon a bunch of monsters, right? Normal summons a Lulu, specials a Nan Nan. At this point, I'm going to lock him into winds because I don't want him going into earths, right? Because if you didn't see, remember that annoying monster that he had last turn, Fan? He actually shuffled it back into his extra deck, so it's no longer in his graveyard. And it's an Earth rank 6 monster, right? So I locked him into wins by flipping Gozen Match here. I'll obviously lock myself in lights. So now he's got 4 tuners on the board. No non-tuners, and he is incapable of making his Fan, which is his best Xyz monster at this point, right? He can't even make the Phantom Knights monster because it's a dark. So he is completely out of plays. He's going to make this Nian Nian level 6, but it doesn't matter. He just scoops because he knows, like, yeah, he can't actually Xyz summon. So, yeah. Virtual World is a very... You got to be careful against Virtual World because, like, unlike Sword Soul, the timing isn't as important. Virtual World has so many plays, so many extenders, so many named cards that you really have to wait and make sure that you flip your cards at the right moment. Note that I delayed my Solemn Strike. Like, I held off on what, like, yeah, you really have to know how the Virtual World deck works for the most part. I mean, you know, being able to distinguish, oh, GG versus Jin, Nian Nian, like, whatever. Those are all, like, silly. Yeah, Nian Nian special something in the graveyard. Lulu's the best opening. Roshi's the one that gets 2 bodies. Like, yeah, so, and Chuche pops a card, right? So you just know a good, you know, nutshell, like, summary of how their deck functions. Like, I knew he was going to go Zeus there, right? Why? Because being locked out of Synchros, his only option is Xyz. Yeah, against a back row deck, you attack, and then you go make a 4-material Zeus. That's like the best play he can make, right? So that's why I held the Solemn Strike, anticipating that he was going to make Zeus. And then once I Solemn Struck the Zeus, that confirmed that I would never have to deal with Zeus ever again. So, yeah, Virtual World, yeah, so Virtual World is very annoying. They have so many freaking extenders and like ways to just keep their combo going. And like if you don't deal with the Chuche, like the Chuche can pop your floodgates. So, yeah, Chuche cannot pop face down cards, which makes life easier for us, but yeah, it can pop face up cards. So, yeah, so that's the Virtual World matchup. Yeah, like maybe you could say, oh, the guy misplayed by playing Harpie's Feather Duster. It's like, I mean, I had Lord, right? If he didn't Harpie's Feather Duster, like, I don't know if I would have bothered. I don't know how long I would have held off on Lord, right? But yeah, it's just funny. I mean, this is why you gotta read cards, right? But also the one copy of Harpie's Feather Duster, like they always seem to draw, like, yeah, whatever. This is why I love Lord of the Heavenly Prisons. Great card. So yeah, that was a interesting game, and yeah, definitely outplayed this dude. You know, because I'm sure he didn't. He expected to get his 4-material Zeus. He expected to get his Fan. He expected to get a lot of stuff, and he just never did. Because I just kind of like anticipated all his little like game plans that he had throughout this game. So anyway, yeah, Virtual World's dumb. Like, if you're gonna play a Synchro deck, just play Sword Soul. At least Sword Soul has some cool looking monsters with big swords that are clear ripoffs of like the Buster Blader archetype, whatever. Play Sword Soul if you want a Synchro deck. Virtual World is just like a bunch of faceless, nameless monsters that like are interchangeable, have no identity, and don't even look cool. Like, Virtual World is like, so it's like Drytron. Virtual World is the Synchro version of Drytron. Drytron is also a bunch of nameless, faceless, you know, like machines that just infinitely summon themselves and ritual summon and stuff. But anyway, all right. Hope you enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Yeah, I'll be putting out more matchup videos because I'm still climbing up. I think I'm almost at Diamond 3 now. Yeah, I haven't played that much since my last video because you know it's been the weekend and I've had plans. But yeah, stay tuned for more. All right, later. Peace.